Singleton too, where it's only audio because you go somewhere else where there's not an ability to video tape this.
Yes, sir.
But you're back in the room? Yes, sir. I have to read them to you again. And then I'll just have you sign them like you did before. It's just a different format. The other one was on the cord and this was on. This one's yes, sir. The Constitution requires I inform you that you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be used in court as evidence against you. You're entitled to talk to an attorney now or have them present now or anytime during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you without cost. Do you desire to consult with an attorney first or have one during this interview? Okay. If at any time hereafter you wish to remain silent or have an attorney present, all questioning will be stopped? Okay. Has anyone at any time threatened, coerced, promised you anything in order to induce you to make a statement? Okay. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
Okay. And do you want to talk with us at this time?
Yes.
Okay. And Senator doesn't mean you're not going home. You're going to go home regardless tonight. But,
I didn't even know that.
just don't want you to think, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I mean, because normally it's because you're in custody. You're not really in custody. You came here voluntarily, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You witnessed this. Yeah. How you doing?
Better.
Yeah, you look better. I'll be right back. Actually, you can do that too. You can do it? Oh, you get one. Look at that. You're not one of the time. Bathroom back here. Go back to the Sure.
She is surprisingly well.
Sweet. He comes in here first, that's all.
Stronger than me.
Sorry?
Stronger than me.
She's stronger than you.
Can I ask you an irrelevant question?
Just wait till he's in here, because he's the lead investigator.
It doesn't have to do with the investigation.
Oh, yeah, that is.
When that neighbor came up and was talking to me, you got up next to him. Did you get up next to him because you thought he was like... Did you position yourself strategically like that?
No, I was just trying to hear what he was saying.
Oh.
He seemed nervous.
Uh-oh.
I didn't think he was like going to beat you up enough, is that what you mean?
I thought you were... Because the four of you kind of got in between.
That's it. Natural.
Oh.
Do it so many times that way.
When you kept your firearm away from him, I think.
Yeah, that's normal. You get used to doing that. Well, you can put the rest of it on the storage. Finished. Hopefully. I'm going to be tired of coming in.
This investigator surrounded the Sanford Police Department. Today's date is Wednesday, February the 29th, 2012. We locate the Sanford Police Department, 815 West 13th Street, City of Sanford, Sumner County, Florida. The time is now 17:19 hours. That's 5:19 p.m. Here to discuss case number 2012-5000-1136, the shooting death of a Trayvon Benjamin Martin, which occurred on February 26th. It was a Sunday at approximately 7:30 p.m.
Let me make sure the record's clear. That prior 20 seconds or so, actually, are you outside the interview room and are you recording on your recorder before you walk in?
Yes, sir, I am.
And when you come into the interview room, does that recorder stay on in addition to the videotape that's going on?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
What happened this evening is that you essentially saw somebody who used good faith that was doing something wrong. Yes. And you ever heard of yourself? Yes. Okay, that's what happened. This person was not doing anything bad. You want to know the person that died? Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Benjamin Martin. He was born in 1995, February the 5th. He was 17 years old. I deal with folks that care. In his possession, we found a can of iced tea and a bag of Skittles and about $40 in cash. Do you have any prior training in law enforcement at all? I mean, any kind of just the legal side of it, the constitutional law. Okay, so you went through but as far as identifying people and stuff like that, as far as what you look forward to make them really suspicious?
Just when we organized an annual neighborhood watch event, they told us, like with I think a PowerPoint presentation and the flyers.
I wasn't privy to that, but if you guys continue neighborhood watch, typically speaking at nighttime, the garb is black on black on black with a black hoodie. Now this guy, dark gray hoodie, so it was dark, but his pants were beige. Not quite your, prime suspect type, but I listened to the phone call that you made to the 911 line. Okay. Is what time, what was going through at the time?
2 or 3 weeks prior to that, I had seen somebody looking in the window of the house that he was in front of.
Was he wearing what?
Black. And the guy that lives there, I know he's actively watching. He's Caucasian. The guy, the suspicious looking guy, went up to the house. I was walking my dog around the neighborhood, and he walked up to the house, and he was smoking. I'm sorry, he wasn't smoking at that time. He turned around, and he saw me walking my dog. So he lit a cigarette and leaned up against the wall, pretending like he lived there. And so I walked past him, and I called 911, and I got under a street light, and they asked me if I could see where he went, or if he went inside the house. I said no. And they said, can you get to where you can see?
I really don't want to move from this area. And they needed the address, and I don't know why the adrenaline was rushing, 1,000 things went through my mind. I gave them what I thought was my address, further down in the 1900 building instead of the 1400. And when I walked to see the address, I saw the end of the house, and he was at the side of the house looking in the window. He either threw or spit he looked at me, threw his cigarette out, and then ran around the back. So I told non-emergency, I think it was still non-emergency at that time, that, I don't know where you guys are coming from, but he's around the back. And I don't know where he went. And I stayed in front of the house where the streetlight was. And I waited and I waited and I waited, and then it hit me. The police came and drove past me. And then is when it hit me that I gave them what I thought was my address instead of that address. I called back and I said, the correct address. The police officer came back. I didn't even see because the house was completely dark. The window was open. So, and the front door wasn't, the police later told me the front door was unlocked. All the windows were open in the house. And the front door was unlocked. The garage was open. So they went in. They cleared the house. Oh, they asked me for the owner's name and phone number. And then they asked him for permission. They went inside the house, blah, 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 blah. Then the next week, not at that building, but at the next building on the end unit, here.
And this is the one prior to this one, right?
No, I'm sorry. That's why I felt this was suspicious.
Okay. What did you see Trayvon doing that caught you as being suspicious?
He was looking at the house intently, and then...
What, the same house?
The same house that I had called about before.
Did he stop?
He stopped.
In front of the house?
He stopped in front of the house, and then I drove... There was a car, like, backing up, so I slowed down, and then I drove around him, and he kept looking at me, and then when I passed, it was raining, and I said, you know what, he's not walking briskly to get out of the rain. He wasn't, he didn't look like a marathon runner that is active and, like, you know, the trains in the rain. He was just walking slowly and in the grass, not on the sidewalk, and I just said, something's off. So that's why I called an emergency.
You know, you're going to do a lot of scrutiny over this, correct? Okay, the profiling aspect of the whole thing. Had this person been like, would you feel the same way?
Yes.
So we're in the process of going through his phone. We got a little bit of the battery died. We're still working on that. There's a possibility that whatever happened was he knew that him was caught on videotape. And this is going to be a final interview. I'm not talking anymore after this. We're good. You know what I'm saying? That right there, that's his cell phone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's a camera. There's a very strong possibility that this homeowner is either going to help you or, you know, not help you. And that's why I got to clarify a few things about what happened out there. How tall are you, Mr. Way?
5'8", 194.
Okay. Trevor's a 6 foot, about 150 pounds. That's a gunshot you put in him. Where might be his heart? Okay. Skinny kid. Obviously, like I said, a lot of questions are being brought up. Like I said, if there's anything that you haven't said that might be in that phone,
I prayed to God that someone would videotape it, or that the neighborhood had put up a video camera that I didn't know about or something.
That's not guaranteed, but like I said, it's a strong possibility. I'm hoping myself. Okay. Another thing too, as far as 25 and 30 punches, I've consulted with a lot of people. Not quite consistent with your injuries. You do have injuries, however. How did he manage to bang your head? Okay, correct me if I misunderstood what you said here as far as slamming the head into the concrete, into the cement thing. So how did he do that?
I was on my back after he first punched me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I immediately fell down, or he threw me down, or I was stumbling. I ended up on my back,
Mm-hmm.
and he was on top of me, mounted,
Okay.
and he kept punching me. And then when I started yelling for help, that's when he grabbed my head and started just slamming.
Grabbed your head by your ears, by how to say?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Every time he punched my nose, it just...
How many times? Okay. How many times you got punched in the nose? A couple.
I don't remember.
Okay, you never got a chance to hit him. You have no defense wounds here. Any bruising on your body, though?
No.
No broken ribs, no fractured ribs, none of that?
No.
Pain? No?
My doctor said I sprained my SI. It feels like a big bruise, but it's deep in there. So.
Is that really what like this happened?
Pardon?
Did you see his face like this when that happened?
No, sir.
Okay. He's young, tall, and skinny. 17. That's him again. It's not sure he's going to have to somebody meet his family. That's just how these things work eventually. And they have a lot of questions, obviously. And I want to prepare you for that. Because like I said, I'm basically out of it after this. This is, you're glad it's on video. That's a good thing. And like I said, I don't mean to torture you with this, but you got to see this before you see it anywhere else. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And the only thing that you don't have is the authority to go ahead and stop legally. You follow? I mean, you're working in the color of an absolutely private citizen. I don't know if this is going to help at this point, but had you told your son that you were Maybe what it was, he was just wondering what the hell he was doing when he came to your car. We probably wouldn't be here right now. Did that ever register to you at all? I mean, I gotta try to get into your head somehow, and like I said, I answer to his family right now.
Yes, sir.
Why did it occur to you to go ahead and tell him? I mean, a lot of what we do out here in law enforcement is basically a lot of talking and a lot of casual encounters, consensual encounters, we call them. Yeah, we might be trying to take something wrong, but it's just to get a feel for the person. Did it ever occur to you to go ahead and actually ask this person what he was doing out there?
No, sir.
Was it fear, precaution, safety, all the above, or
I didn't want to confront him, and this wasn't my job.
okay? So, but not your job's not to really do anything at all when it comes like that. It wasn't your job to monitor him either, but for future reference, I mean, you usually dismiss a lot of this kind of insanity. I mean, had that been done, and that's, you know, and from our vantage point, you've had two opportunities to identify yourself as somebody who was actually not meaning to do him harm. Problem being is that what if it's in his mind's eye, which I can't get into because he's passed, that he perceives you as a threat. Okay? He perceives you as a threat, he has every right to go and defend himself, especially when you reach into your pocket to grab the cell phone. Okay? What I'm gravitating to here is to say that, like I said, could that have been a possibility for him getting so enraged at you? What do you think his mindset was? What made him snap? Can you fill in that blank?
The other thing was when he walked up to my car, he reached in his waistband and held his hand there.
He was probably holding his iced tea.
I don't know.
Oh, fine, but did he say anything?
It was raining, so I had my windows up and I was on the phone. I didn't.
How close to your car did you get?
Maybe a car length?
What do you think set him off?
I don't know.
I'm still not understanding. When he walked up to your car, why didn't you say anything to him?
I guess fear. I didn't want to confront him. The same reason I didn't.
You were afraid of him?
Yes, ma'am.
And then do you say he ran?
Yes.
Then you get out of your car and run after him?
I didn't run after him, no. I walked to find a street name or a street sign, and he had already cut out between the houses. So I knew that if I walked straight through that little sidewalk, I knew that was my street that I lived on, Retrieve Circle. But when I was walking around, my truck lights stay on, and he wasn't there.
So was that portion of that T that you could see straight through lit up by your truck lights?
It was lit up partially because it only stays on for a few, I don't know how long, but it stays on for a while.
When you got out, you shut the car off and took your keys with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you didn't, okay, and at that point you didn't see him. You did say on the phone call he's running, and you got in your car, but yet you decided to go ahead to orientate yourself. How many streets were in that subdivision?
I think 3.
Okay, and you're part of the homeowners association. Are you head of the neighborhood watch?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Once again, something else I gotta try to explain away. How do you not know the 3 streets your neighborhood been living for 3 years? Well, yes, you have really no idea. How do I explain that one away that you're saying that you didn't know what street was one of the 3 streets that have been in the community that you're the head of the homeowners, the head of the winners? You know what I'm saying? How do I do that? I mean,
To be honest with you, I have a bad memory anyway. That's why I gave.
So that might explain why I didn't know the street that you were at.
And I just have a terrible memory. I mean, when they asked me the address, I don't know why I always think my address is 1960 and it's 1950. I don't know why.
That thing was confusing, that whole place. I had a hard time orienting myself also. I mean, yeah, I got it. But okay,
The one thing I can tell you is that the streets, those middle streets, I can't even remember the names now, but I know that they changed names. Once it branches left, it's a different one. Once it branches right, it's a different name, so.
Well, I guess that's going to be one of the issues that I have to clarify, and that's why we're here today. you were, he was mounted on your upper chest, or, I mean, at what point were you able to free your waist side to go ahead and pull out your weapon?
When he was mounted on me, but he had pressure on my nose and my mouth suffocating me. And when he let go of my mouth and started reaching down my side and said, "You're gonna die tonight," I didn't need my hand anymore because he let go of my mouth. I don't remember if I was still screaming or not. But that's when I grabbed his hand and I grabbed my firearm and fired. So once he let go, that I realized I didn't need my hand and he was gonna kill me.
How long did it suffocate you for?
Felt like
Should be forever, I'm sure.
felt like hours, but I don't know.
Okay. Is there a full-size line or a small line? Compact, okay. And you were able to overpower him as far as like holding his wrist. You gained wrist control. You gained wrist control on him basically, and you were able to basically liberate both hands.
Yes.
Okay. And you raised it up. Do you remember hitting him with the pistol?
No, sir.
Distance-wise?
I just remember not wanting to hit my own hand that was holding his, so I went past my hand and I fired in his direction.
Okay, this is what do you think?
Yeah.
Some cold?
No, thanks. This is fine. I did remember. You said that the operator told me to stay in my car. They didn't tell me to stay in my car. They said, "Are you following him?" And I was walking where he had walked, and I said, "Yes." And they said, "We don't need you to do that." And I said, "Okay."
Okay, yeah. And then you had already gotten out of your car. I didn't hear any bells and like you opened the door, it goes ding, ding, ding or something. I didn't hear any of that either, so yeah.
It doesn't do that.
It does? Okay, I didn't catch that. You catch the recording?
I thought I could hear the door close. I thought I could hear the door
Okay,
close.
yeah, that was kind of unclear on that. Okay, I wasn't sure if there was anything, but you already got in your car. But once again, this also lends to the question on, once the fear for not lowering your window because he's right in front of you, two, outside exposing yourself to the possibility of being attacked by the person.
When he comes up to your car, you're telling them, right, that he's reaching in his waist
Yes,
down?
ma'am.
So what do you think is the possibility that he has?
Well, the guy 2 weeks prior did the same thing when he saw me. He like put his hand in his jacket and watched me walk by, and then he lit up a cigarette. So I thought he was just trying to look tough or intimidate.
You didn't think he had a weapon?
No, not at the time.
You thought he was just trying to bluff you?
Yes, ma'am.
And did that scare you? The bluff?
No.
Have you ever worked security before?
No, sir.
You worked in a party one time?
Oh, yes.
Right? Okay. Was that painful or just...
It wasn't professional
Okay.
or anything. It was
Okay. There's a thing called challenging somebody. Now, you have to challenge this person while he was out next to your car, so you got it. You sound kind of frustrated on the phone conversation. Because everybody's going to hear these things, you know? And I'm just... You went out there just like you said, and you hung up 911, and right after that, you turned around and he was.
No, sir.
Okay.
I walked past where he went through to go to Retreat B Circle.
Which way that he'd be heading back to his house where you're staying?
I have no idea what.
That's where he was going. I'm just letting you know that.
But when I walked and I saw he wasn't there anymore, they asked me for my address, and I gave them my address. And I said, I don't really like giving out my address because they may know where I go or where I live.
So he would have been in earshot of you thought, but you couldn't see him.
I could not see him at all.
But how close could he? Okay.
I didn't like anyone.
That's fine. That's fine.
And they said that around that time is when they said, "We don't need you to follow him." So I continued walking straight to my street. And when I came back, I was coming back and I passed the sidewalk that he went to.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see where he came from, but he was not there. And I told non-emergency, he's not here. And they said, "You still want us to sit in the car?" And I said, "Yes."
So, sir, was that there? Yes, was it right? Yeah.
Yeah, you were talking, you just had a discussion about meeting at the mailbox, and then you said, "Never mind, have them call my phone, and I'll tell them where I'm at."
Oh, I thought I told them because I first pulled up at the clubhouse, and I gave them that address, if I remember serves me, and then I told them my location according to the clubhouse. I said, if you go straight through the clubhouse and then to the left, you'll see my truck there, and I think I gave them a description of my truck, either the color, the make, and the model, and when they said, where do you want them to meet you, I said, just have them meet me back at my truck, and that's when I was walking towards my truck.
Okay, so when you approached Bruiser, what the fuck's your problem? Correct?
Something to that effect.
Did he use the word homie?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Did you at that time ever say to him, I'm neighborhood watch?
No.
Did it not occur to you?
I always said, I don't have a problem, and I started backing away from him.
But you kind of did have a problem, that's why you were following her, right? You had a concern with him.
I was scared.
You were scared to tell them that you had a concern? That you were neighborhood watch? You were afraid to tell him that?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but these are the questions you're going to ask me, so I'm going to have to give them an answer.
I was
It
scared.
seemed like the perfect opportunity to say, look, I'm neighborhood watch, I don't recognize you, are you staying here?
Like I said, he came up out of nowhere. I didn't even see him. I was walking back to my car thinking that I was going to meet a police officer there. So when he popped up, he just caught me off guard. I didn't think that I'd tell him.
But can you see how that would maybe frighten him? You've been following him now for a whole car?
What do you mean, on foot or?
Yeah, you're watching him. Okay. He makes it clear to you, he sees you, he walks up to your car, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
He was making it clear to you, I recognize you're following me.
I didn't know if he was doing that or he was doubling back what he was doing.
No, but the reason why you said, well, you have a problem was because, for no other reason, because he let you follow him. In other words, you were just walking randomly, he didn't walk up to you and say, yeah, fucking problem. He didn't try to rob you, he didn't try to, he's asking what the fuck's your problem. Now, could it possible you said, I don't have a fucking problem?
No.
No?
I didn't. No.
Well, your reason to go in law enforcement because you got a degree in justice?
No, I wanted to do it before then.
Why'd you get, did you have the aspiration of doing that?
Being a police officer? Yes, sir.
Do you think he was scared? Do you think he thought you were trying to hurt him? I mean, because even in the tape you say he's running. First of all, he can see you're following him. That would be the reason he would come to your car and let you know, I see you.
Oh, in my car, right?
And then, instead of having a conversation with him, you put up your window.
Yes.
So the might seem creepy to him. So someone's following him, and when he tries to talk to him to maybe see what's going on, he creeps. And then when he runs, you follow him. Yeah, and maybe you're frightened him, I don't know.
I wish I knew.
Oh, I know. It's when people are following you or trying to talk to you and trying to ask you what you're doing, and who are they? Why do they have a right to ask me anything? Who are they? You know what I mean? They're trying to keep people from coming in your neighborhood and bothering people. Yet you could give the appearance that you're asking people for information and you haven't even told them who you are.
We're not supposed to.
I think that's what you said you did on that, right? You never told him who you were.
No. I didn't have the opportunity.
Well, you could have told him. Right? When he came to your car, instead of putting up your window, you could have said on neighborhood watch.
He wasn't, like, next to my window or anything.
No, I thought you told me he circled your whole car.
He did, but I don't know if he circled the entire car, but he came around to the side. But he wasn't, like, within earshot, and I didn't want to confront him. I was happy he was staying in the area so the police could question him. In the past, when I got involved in this back in August, it was because my wife saw people fleeing the place they had robbed. And ever since then, whenever we see someone suspicious, we call. But feeling they go in neighborhood, inside and out. You guys come real quick. Sometimes you show up with 3 cars, but there's no one. I have a wife at home. I'm not chasing anyone. I think even when 2-3 weeks ago, when he went around the back of the house, they asked me, "Can you see him behind the house?" And I said, "No, I'm not going back there either." I waited on the street, and actually when the cop passed me, I tried flagging him down, but I guess he was...
This on a previous call?
Yes, ma'am. 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, for the one you were talking about earlier with the kids looking in the windows?
Yes, ma'am. And I tried to flag the cop down, thinking that...
I didn't know the guy that went to the next one was the same guy that you had seen.
I recognize his face.
Oh, so you saw his face pretty good?
Yes, ma'am. I was walking, I walked right past him.
You didn't think this kid was the same kid, did you?
No, that kid was arrested.
Okay. But they get out. I mean, you didn't think that this was possibly the same kid coming back.
At the time of the encounter with him, was there anything in your hand?
I think my flashlight.
Okay, your flashlight. Was it working or was it not working?
It was dead.
It was dead. Okay, it was not clicking on.
Yes.
It was your right hand or left hand?
I don't recall.
Okay. And you looked away from him, is that what happened? When you got punched, or did you see the punch coming?
No, I walked past where he went through, and I started walking back to my car, and that's when he yelled out, and I turned around.
How far was he away from that? Was he up on you already, or? Can't tell.
I don't recall. As soon as he did that, I started backing up towards my car, and that's when I wanted to call 911 instead of non-emergency.
Do you realize how the way these cases can go?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, how can they go?
Either justifiable homicide or murder.
Okay. And that's why, like I'm saying, I mean, I'm going to try something with you that I've done before. It's called assisted memory recall. It's not hypnosis. It's just something that, I mean, just have you try it. Go ahead, close your eyes, man. Okay, and once you put yourself back in this Sunday night, at 7 o'clock, you're looking at this kid, you're getting out of your car, talking to the dispatcher, you hang up to the dispatcher, okay, give yourself a couple seconds to go ahead and think about what happened after that. Now you're going to try to act like exactly what happened, okay? I'm going to be the kids. What the fuck is your problem? You say what you said.
I don't have a problem.
Okay, at that point, nothing else was said.
No, sir.
Think.
No, sir.
What did you say the first time he hit you?
I don't think I said a thing.
There was no conversation prior. Okay, we're good. Okay. Nothing at all.
No, sir.
Okay. That never works. Just, you know, you gotta try it though.
For me.
It's not happening.
Tell us if you could, do you move now somewhere else?
Excuse me, sir?
Are you moving now outside of the interview room?
Yes, sir, we're heading to my desk.
Okay. All right, we can turn the lights back on because I believe the rest is all audio. And what was the purpose of heading towards your desk now, sir?
So I could play the 911 calls for him.
And are you present and the defendant, Mrs. Zimmerman, and then Singleton and a few other investigators or officers are around, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So once you come to my desk, here's George. George, this is Randy, that's Rebecca. Let me grab a chair for George. Let me get a chair.
dog type of file.
Madam Chair? WMMA, WWF, I don't know. Okay. Here we go. And I know how to do this part. Okay. This is your 911 call. Very good.
Member Police Department, report to Sean. Hey, we've had some break-ins in my neighborhood, and there's a real suspicious guy.
Okay, real suspicious guy. Okay, one more time. Why suspicious?
It was raining. He was looking into the houses, looking behind, looking at me. He wasn't walking quickly to get out of the rain. It didn't look like he was like trying to head home. He didn't look like a hardcore athlete that wanted to like train in the rain or anything. He just looked out of place.
Okay.
Retreat View Circle. The best address I can give you is 111 Retreat View Circle. This guy looks like he's up to no good, or he's on drugs or something.
On drugs, why?
Oh, because he just kept looking around, looking behind him, just kept shifting where he was looking.
It's raining, and he's just walking around looking about. Okay, and this guy, is he white, black, or Hispanic? He looks black. Did you see what he was wearing? Yeah, a dark hoodie, like a gray hoodie, and he was jeans or sweatpants and white tennis shoes.
Can you see the color of his pants? Okay.
You see him now, he was just staring. Oh, he's just walking around the area? At all the houses. Okay. And now he's just staring at me. Okay, 868-1111.
Okay, when you explained it to me, you said you had pulled over initially at the clubhouse, correct? Okay, but it seemed so fast, and then I thought you told me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I thought you said they asked you, can you still see him, and you told them you couldn't, and you asked, and they said, well, get to where you can see where he's at. And you told me it's at that point you moved.
Yes.
Now you're saying he's coming up to your car. Does that mean you've already, at this point in the tape, you're already on Twin Tree Street? You didn't know the name of it at the time?
Oh, no, I called when I was at the clubhouse.
Okay, but he's walking up to your car now, right?
Yes,
On the
sir.
tape? Because you're saying he's walking up.
Yes,
You're
sir.
talking about when you've already left the clubhouse and now you're around the corner.
No, ma'am.
But you're still at the clubhouse when he does this? Okay.
One Retreat View or 111? That's the clubhouse. That's the clubhouse. Do you know he's near the clubhouse right now? Yeah, now he's coming towards me. Okay. He's got his hand in his waistband.
Where are you at now? Are you still at the clubhouse?
I think I'm still at the clubhouse.
And he's a black male. Okay. How old would you say he was? With a button on his shirt. Late teens. Late teens, okay. Mm-hmm.
Have you moved yet?
Something wrong.
I don't think so.
You're still in front of the clubhouse?
I think so.
On Retreat View Circle?
Yes, ma'am. I don't remember even saying he had a black nose.
Wrong with him.
Something's wrong with him.
Yeah, something's wrong with him.
What's that statement supposed to mean?
Yeah, he's coming to check me out. He's got something in his hands. I don't know what he's feeling.
Okay, where are you at now? You're still in front of the clubhouse?
I don't remember.
Okay, just let me know if he does anything else. Yeah, we got him on the line. Just let me know if this guy does anything else. Okay. These assholes, they always get away.
That statement. These assholes. What's behind that?
People that victimize the neighborhood.
Didn't you just tell us from there that a week earlier they made an arrest?
Yes, ma'am.
They don't always get away.
No.
Good point.
When you come to the clubhouse, you come straight in and make a left.
What's happening now? Are you guys walking now? Is he
Well,
walking?
I was parked where I could see him now.
So,
You're definitely not in front of the clubhouse
No.
anymore at this point.
so you're ahead of him?
No, I was behind him.
Okay. So he walked to your car, then walked on his path, and you were behind him.
Yes, sir. When I was at the clubhouse, he
Are you
walked.
driving slowly or something?
No, I pulled over and stopped before I
Okay.
called.
Actually, you go past the clubhouse. Okay, it says on the left-hand side from the clubhouse? You go in straight through the entrance, and then you make a left, you go straight in, don't turn and make a left. Shit, he's running.
Okay. Full sprint, full long flight, jogging, trotting, describe the run.
Because I was on the phone. It happened so quickly.
I understand that, George, but like I said, it's, if it was a bicycle theft, I could say okay, but it's kind of important. I mean, was he running as to evade you, get away from you? Maybe he got tired of getting wet in the rain. What kind of run was it? I mean, it sounds like he's running as to get away from you.
I don't know why.
But what kind of run was it? Can't say? Okay.
He's running. Which way is he running?
Okay, is that you getting out of the car?
Yes.
Okay.
So as soon as he runs, you're getting out of the car and following.
When he says which way are you running,
He's down towards the entrance of the neighborhood. Okay, which entrance is that that he...
At that point, you're out of the car? Okay, so you basically jumped out of the car to see where he was going.
Yes.
Okay, that's not fear. All right?
Yes.
That's
Heading towards the back entrance.
I wasn't running.
Are you following us?
what was that you whispered?
Yeah, entrance.
Fucking what?
Punk.
He wasn't a fucking punk.
Are you following us? Yeah, okay, we don't need...
Okay.
You just do that. Alright, so what is your name?
At the point where he said, are you following me? You said, why did you do that? What went through your mind?
He's right.
So you should have stopped and went back to your vehicle.
I still wanted to give him an address.
Yeah, okay, we don't need you to do that. Alright, sir, what is your name? George. He ran. Alright.
Okay, he said he ran again. Okay. This is because you don't see him?
Correct.
So at this point he has to be hiding from you.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't see it.
well, the law of the physics says that he's hiding from you at this point. He could not have made it home. He came back to attack you at that time, so. What's your account is that you don't see him at this point. You're at the T now, right? Here's the pavement. Correct? You're looking down that way, that passage. Where you at?
Once he told me not to follow him, and I wasn't following him. I was just going in the same direction he was. Once he
That's
said,
following.
well, look, I thought, I mean,
If you okay. So you basically wrote it off. I mean,
right. I was on the other side. I was on Retreat View Circle at that time.
okay.
The other day, and again, these are the questions that we're going to have to be able to explain to people. The other day you told me you got out of the car because dispatch was asking your location and you wanted to orient yourself. You did not tell me that you said, oh shit, he's running, and then got out of the car and went in that same direction at the same time. See what the problem is?
Yes.
And I asked you, did you look for him? And you told me no. You told me the reason that you got out of your car was to get an address.
Yes.
But you decide to get the address a fraction of a second after you say, oh shit, he's running. And then it sounds like you're running too.
It was fast walking.
No, it was just windy.
It was.
Hey, George, what's your last name? Zimmerman. Hey, George, what's the phone number you're calling from? 407-435.
Where are you at now?
248.
On Retreat View Circle.
Okay.
00. George, would you have them on the way? Do you want to meet with the officer when they get out there? Yeah. Where are you going to meet with them at? If they come in through the gate, tell them to go straight past the clubhouse.
What are you doing right now?
Walking back to the
And straight past the clubhouse. And
Okay. If I time this portion, this is important, okay? I almost got to reconstruct this.
if they
When you start
come
walking
in
back to
through
your car.
the gate, the back entrance. Are you following
Now
them?
you're going towards the retreat view,
We
right?
need you to do that.
Okay.
All right, sir, what is your name? George. Sure.
Okay, where you at now?
All right, George, what's your last name?
Okay. Is that 241? Okay.
Zimmerman. And George, what's the phone number you're calling from?
Okay, welcome back to your car.
407-435-2400. All right, George, would you have them on the way? Do you want to meet with the officer when they get out there? Yeah. All right, where are you going to meet with them at? If they come in through the gate, tell them to go straight past the clubhouse and straight past the clubhouse and make a left. And then they go past the mailboxes. Look at my truck. Okay, what address are you parked in front of? I don't know. It's a cut through, so I don't know the address. Okay, do you live in the area? Yeah. Well, what's your apartment number? It's a home. It's 1950. Oh crap! I don't want to give that out. I don't know where this kid is. Okay, do you want to just be with them right near the mailboxes, then? Yeah, that's fine. All right, George. I'll let them know to meet you with the there. Actually, could you have him call me and I'll tell him where I'm at? Okay. Yeah, that's no problem. You need my number? You got it? Yeah, I got it. 474-352-400. Yeah, you got it. Okay, no problem. I'll let them know to call you when they're in the area. Thanks. You're welcome.
It's 84 seconds. From the point where you were walking back to your car from Retreat View to Twin Tree, basically.
30 feet.
That's a minute and 20 seconds. You stopped at the T.
No, I walked through. I stopped on Retreat View Circle.
That's where you were standing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you didn't get back into your car?
No, sir.
Why not? You're in the rain, you're getting wet, you're on the phone.
Because I was waiting. I had light there where I was at, and I was trying to get my flashlight. I didn't want to walk back through without light.
Okay, a minute and 20 seconds.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're in the rain getting wet. You've ripped this guy off basically. You're going to meet the police. Okay. You see where the obstacle is here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want you to think about that. So I am speaking for you. It's everybody. I'm trying to protect you the best I can here.
Yes, sir.
It's a minute and 20 seconds. Doesn't sound like you were saying, well, it doesn't sound like you quite recall exactly what happened at that point, okay? If there was stuff here that happened or something else. This is all right. Okay.
Okay, can I ask, because my concern is also this. Oh, shit, he's running. And I'm getting out of my car in an instant to make sure I don't lose sight of this guy. That's what it sounds like. Are you following him? Because that's what it sounds like you're doing. That's why he asked you the question. It sounded to the dispatcher likely that you were running. And that's why he asked you that question. Are you following him? And your answer is yes. Okay? But then you get to the other side and you're concerned about walking past this guy when you've already been chasing him, essentially. And he's telling you to go back to your car, and now you want to pretend, or not pretend, you want us to believe that you're concerned about having a flashlight to move back where you just ran?
You're looking
Trying to
for
catch
him.
up to him. See what I'm saying?
Okay, it sounds like you're looking for him.
You brought a flashlight with you.
Yes, sir.
You want him to be able to see him.
You want to catch him? You want to catch a bad guy?
It doesn't, that's...
Fuck them punks, you can't get away. Listen, we're outside that interrogation room, okay? We are in a whole different area right here, okay? This is where, you know what I mean, this is why I took you out of there, so you could hear this. So I can recall your memory and let you see if you say walk back to your car and you still outside your car for a minute, they're not going to believe anything I got to say.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I'm saying. Is there anything that you need to clarify right now? Did you pursue this kid? Did you want to catch him?
No.
Okay, it's not you. It's not what you're about.
Why did you tell them? Never mind, just have them call me when they get here and I'll tell them where I'm
I
at.
was frustrated that I couldn't think of this street name.
But you were going to be back in your car from that distance in less than 15 or 20 seconds. So why would they need to call you?
I felt like I didn't give them an adequate description of where I was from the clubhouse.
Because know what the impression would be is that you're going to continue to look, and when they get here, you should tell them where you're at that point. See what I'm saying? Well, no, never mind.
Just keep
Just
them
tell
out.
them to call me when they get here, and I'll tell them where I'm at. Meaning I might not be at my car, where I just told them I would be.
Now, we're here working for you here, okay? That's what you got to open your mind, okay? And if there's anything that needs to be changed, this is it. We can't do this anymore, okay? Let's put this one.
911, do you need police medical? Maybe
You hear that voice in the background?
both, I'm not sure, there's just someone screaming. 911, do you need police medical? Maybe both, I'm not sure, there's
That's
just
you.
someone screaming outside. Hey, what's the address that they're near? 1211 Twin Trees Lane. Twin Trees Lane? Is this in Twin Lake Town, in Sanford? Yes. Okay, and is it a male or female?
You hear
It's a
yourself?
male. And you don't know why?
Doesn't even sound
I don't know why I'm yelling out, but I don't know. Send someone to stop.
Okay.
Does he look hurt? I can't see him. I don't want to go up there. I don't know what's going on. So they're sending.
So you think he's yelling help?
Yes.
Alright, what is your ticket on the
Okay, right there. He smothered you. That's correct. At what point did he smother you? Was it right before you shot him?
Yes.
Immediately behind the shot?
911, do you need police medical?
I need to give you an approximate time when he started
I'm
smothering
not
you.
sure. There's just someone screaming outside.
Hey, what's the address that they're near?
1211
That's who he is, right?
Twin Trees Lane.
Is this in Twin Lake Town, in Sanford?
Yes.
Okay, and is it a male or female?
Help me, help me.
It sounds like a male.
And you don't know why?
I don't know why. I think they're yelling help, but I don't know. Send someone to stop.
Does he look hurt?
I can't see him. I don't want to go up there. I don't know what's going on. So they're sending.
So you think he's yelling help?
Yes.
Alright, what is your ticket on the
Where you shot?
There's gunshot.
Can you recall? At what point the suffocation happened? Prior to you shooting him, he was on you, correct? Okay. And you were able to reach into your holster? He shot him at point blank range. He was on top of you, right?
Yes.
Okay. And although that young, nobody came out to help you. And I can't pinpoint where you were smothered. That's the problem I'm having. And nobody's saying they saw him smothering you. People were saying they saw you on top of you, but they didn't see about the smothering part. So,
When we're listening to the screaming, it doesn't sound like there's a hesitation in the screaming. It sounds like it's continuous. If somebody who knows, it's going to stop. But we don't hear it stop.
we don't hear him at all either. Is he being quiet? Is he whispering to you or something? Is he calm?
He's like angry.
I don't hear him though.
Is he shouting it, or was he...
No, he's on top of me. He's telling me, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up.
And then when he saw you had a gun at that point, you think he might have saw you had a gun when you guys were standing before he punched you? No way, no how? Was it totally concealed under that jacket? You couldn't have got a glimpse of it accidentally? And once again, getting back to the beginning, what was the provocation from punching you other than the fact you were following it that you can think of? Why are you so mad at you?
I've gone through it a million times.
Investigator Serino, at about 52 minutes, when you're playing the recording, you specifically say, "Are you hearing yourself?" And Mr. Zimmerman says, "That doesn't even sound like me." Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
At doing parts of the interview, you showed him some photographs. Do you recall that?
Yes, I did, sir.
You showed him a photograph of a cell phone, the victim's cell phone that was on the ground,
I did.
and
Yes.
you told him that this might have been videotaped. Were you bluffing him? Were you lying to him to get him to say something?
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay. You also showed him photographs of the victim. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right, may I have a moment?
Excuse me,
I don't know if we can take a recess or we're all right.
need a recess? Yes. Okay, court will be in recess for 15 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, put your notepads face down on the chair, follow Deputy Jarvis back into the jury room. Counsel approach for just one moment. Can you turn this on?